Alrighty, and welcome back everybody to yet another match here in North American Tournament 2025. We are in the semifinals weekend, and we've got a pretty special matchup here between two players in the losers bracket. It's going to be xymbii versus orngoos. Notably, one of these two players has not played a single match outside of group stages, that being orngoos, who made pretty big waves in the group stage, as well as just really dominating in the qualifiers. So I am a little bit excited to see how they are going to perform, because this is going to be their first match. They FF'd their initial match and then had a match FF'd into them in the losers bracket. So xymbii, on the other hand, has been playing since group stage, and we are already starting to see the bans come through here. First ban was from orngoos. That's going to be the Nomad 6 gone, and second ban is going to be from xymbii on the Nomad 2. But yeah, is going to be an interesting one. I do think that these two players have very overlapping skill sets, notably in the hard rocks and the double times. Both of these players really prefer the hard rocks and the double times. I do believe orngoos prefers a bit more of something like a Nomad 3 and maybe something like Nomad 2 than xymbii does, a bit more tapping preferred. But that Nomad 2 getting banned out does mean that we won't be seeing that from orngoos or xymbiis, and now we just have to wait. First pick from orngoos here. I do think it's going to be a tricky one. Again, these two players, they have a lot of overlapping skill sets, so it is a bit risky picking into something knowing that your opponent could very easily get the break point off of it. But orngoos, maybe a bit of a troll move here, banning out the Nomad 6, potentially. I'm not sure if that's real, but we are going to have to see a pick, and it is going to be in the hard rock pool. As predicted, this is where orngoos is most comfortable here on something like this hard rock 3. Going to be an interesting one, mapped by Consumer of Bean, and it's going to be a good one. I believe this one is pretty small circle size here. Yeah, CS 7.4 is going to be the circle size for this one. There are technically 2 precision picks in this week's pool, so the fact that they are both open is going to be pretty important as for whichever player ends up coming out on top on this one. Although they are 2 different styles of maps completely, but is going to be maybe potentially a free pick for whoever ends up winning on this hard rock 3. But we are going to be getting into this one pretty shortly here, and it is also best of 13 as we are in the semifinals, so this one could go the distance. And yes, while this one might only be 5.8 stars without hard rock, it's still going to be pretty difficult with hard rock. I think that's up to like 7.3, just because of that circle size being so small. And yeah, are going to be seeing some pretty significant accuracy drops here from xymbii on the beginning of the map. Look at a decent score lead for orngoos just off of those early act drops. Map doesn't really do too much here at the beginning. It's really just about who can control their accuracy on some of these pretty basic patterns. It's where the key eye hits. That's going to be problematic for either of these two players, and they are comfortable on the slider jumps here. Still holding on to 2 FCs. But this is where the spacing starts to get pretty big here, as xymbii is going to be the first to fall, finding a miss on pretty big spaced triple there, so it's going to give orngoos even more of a score advantage. And this one is a longer pick, so there is plenty of time to recover on that score, but for the time being, Orange Juice is looking to run away with this one. A lot more important to hold on to the combo, especially on those long, fast sliders, especially when it's this kind of a precision pick here where missing on the slider is going to be that much more detrimental than just not hitting the slider tail, and we see both players utilizing that in some instances here, but it's still going to be Orange Juice holding on to the FC going into the second PI section. Gonna need to see a miss come through from Orange Juice here sooner than later if xymbii wants a chance back into this. He does have good recovery on about 400 now, but does end up dropping that as I say that, and the accuracy has stabilized, although it's still down by about 1.8% in favor of Orange Juice, and Orange Juice is still hitting these patterns in the second PI and not looking to stop anytime soon, and yeah, 200,000 point score lead here right before the solo section is gonna be, I think, more than enough for Orange Juice to have already secured himself the point. It does finally end up dropping that combo, but again, it's gonna be too little too late, I think, here for xymbii. 200,000 is so much to bring back, and when your recovery combo is only just about 180 more, it's gonna take a long time for that score to start slipping back the way of xymbii, but there is a chance if we see some massive chain misses from Orange Juice as well as accuracy drops, that score can swing a lot quicker than what it is right now, but it's all off the back of if xymbii is going to be able to hold on to his combo here. Final section, PI section of this map here. We are seeing both players still on the combos. That score has dropped down by about 30,000 since it was at its peak. xymbii finds one of the final misses of this map, and that is going to be the nail in the coffin on this one. It was looking a little hopeful, but again, it would have had to have been off the back of chain misses from Orange Juice, who is just so completely confident and comfortable on this pick. And a very decisive first pick as well. So that's going to be first point on the board here for Orange Juice. First point of the bracket stage that Orange Juice has gotten. First actual point. I mean, technically, an FF is your opponent just getting a -1 and you get 0, but yeah, Orange Juice looking pretty solid, pretty comfortable here on his first pick, and yeah, definitely maybe gonna be going for something like that Hard Rock 2 next. You have to imagine, of course, the way the bans work in this tournament. We have to get through for the first 4 maps before we get to see the second phase of bans from these two players. So definitely is an option. I do think you would want to jump the gun and take over that Hard Rock 2 when it is Orange Juice's next pick. But for the time being, gonna have to get through xymbie's first pick, and that's gonna be on the Hidden 2. That is our AR8 hidden pick here this week. So CS5 as well. Not going to be quite as precision intensive as that Hard Rock 3 that we just saw, but still a little bit more precision required in this one for these players to have to keep track of. But the real difficulty is going to come down to the reading aspect of this map. HFs are coming out here. We're going to get into xymbie's first pick. Hidden 2. Do think that this is a pretty solid pick for them as well, because Orange Juice is not a player who prefers hidden, let alone on something like these lower AR hidden picks, as we're already seeing just a pretty heavy accuracy drop here from Orange Juice, and it's a bit worrisome that just seeing how the start of this one is going for them, how the rest of this map is going to go, because it does not get any easier. However, for the time being, is holding on to the combo, but how much longer? Yeah, not going to be that much longer. And already, just off of this very early beginning of this map, we're seeing a 50,000 point score lead in favor of xymbii, as Orange Juice is just not comfortable at all on this style of pick, and maybe honestly should have left this one get banned, but we do finally see a drop from xymbii here in this first KI section, as well as a couple of chain falling after, slight misread as well, so that is an opening for Orange Juice to get back into it, but right now that 77% accuracy is not helping out Orange Juice by any means. It's really going to have to come down to combo, if anything, at this point, and yeah, the combo is just not there for Orange Juice, as he drops on the recovery, but it doesn't matter because that was one of the hardest sections of this map, and yeah, holding on to 80,000 points here in the halfway mark is xymbii. Looking to answer back with a point of his own here at the start of this match. And she's finding a couple more misses on one of the slow sections. Not really want to see any more misses on some of this free combo, but again, this is just not a style of map that Orange Juice is comfortable on, although he does have the combo advantage by a pretty significant margin, but ends up dropping it as I say that. And that is going to neutralize what could have been a bit of a score shift back in towards the way of Orange Juice, but xymbii is still holding on to this 92% accuracy. Yes, this dropped a bit from the 97 we saw in the beginning, but now we get into another difficult section here. xymbii's going to be the first to fall going into it. There's time for Orange Juice to recover here, but does end up trading on some of these combo misses, and xymbii is still finding more and more misses, not really able to control the aim on this one, and it's all going to be in favor of xymbii though, despite all of the difficulties that he's coming up with here in this end part, just because Orange Juice is also struggling, not able to hold on to combo either himself, and this is going to be a point for xymbii. Quick little answer back here to tie things back up 1-1. And honestly, I wonder if not banning this was a blunder from Orange Juice. Because I can't help but feel like something like the No Mod 6 would have been that much better of a ban over something like this. But either way, that is going to be xymbii getting a point on the board. 92.5% versus 82.8 will do it very easily. Combo just slightly higher than the max combo of Orange Juice. Neither of these two players was really able to hold on to much combo, but the accuracy was really why xymbii was able to pull through on this one. And it is going to be the immediate response from Orange Juice on the Hard Rock 2. We saw how good he looked on the Hard Rock 3, which is arguably more precision than something like this Hard Rock 2, but this is going to be a different style of map than that Hard Rock 3. Hard Rock 3 was a lot more laid back, as weird as that sounds, with something like the CS 7.8 or whatever it was. Excuse me, let me pull up the sheet once again. Something like the CS 7.4, excuse me. This is going to be a bit more fast-paced, almost 70 BPM higher than the Hard Rock 3, and does feature a lot more mechanics in this one. So this could be a different look here entirely, because xymbii is no stranger to the style of pick, but we'll see how he's able to perform, as I do think this one's going to get started here pretty quickly. These two players are ready. Also going to be significantly shorter than the Hard Rock 3, coming in at just about a full minute shorter than the Hard Rock 3 as we just saw. So these combos that they're going to be able to get are going to be that much more important for these two players, but GLHFs do finally come out here, and we're going to get into map number 3. Orange Juice looking to get a second point on the board. Looked super confident, super comfortable on that Hard Rock 3. Are we going to see a similar look from him? xymbii looked pretty solid on that Hard Rock 3 as well, just not quite as comfortable at something as small as CS 7.4 as Orange Juice was, but we're already starting to see the stark difference with maps here for these two ones. It's going to be a lot more focus on this kind of reading here, a lot of overlapping patterns, and A lot of stacked notes as well, but neither of these players are getting tripped up by them yet, so pretty solid to begin this one. So holding on to their combos, both players, that accuracy has dropped a little bit for Orange Juice now. Was about 99, dropped down to 98.2, but still holding onto the FC are these two players, and that is still going to be a slight score advantage because of the accuracy difference for Orange Juice. But the first miss here will definitely decide who takes this one, I think, because it's going to be a bit hard to hold onto your combo getting into this final section, but both players hold on through the spacing increases of those streams. But it's going to be a big backdrop from Orange Juice, and that shifts that score lead the way of xymbii for the time being. And they got to see just how close this one was. They got to see that both players were holding on to FCs, and now it's xymbii with the lead, but are into some of these trickier stream patterns, and it is AHCS 6.5 still, and that's going to be xymbii dropping first. Going to be finding massive chain misses, and that score lead instantly goes away if Orange Juice still holding on to the FC, and they're going to be putting a massive dent in this score lead, but finally ends up dropping on the combo. Now it's going to be 100,000 points, and xymbii's going to effectively have the FC for the rest of the map, and hope for a couple more misses from Orange Juice if he wants a chance to get the score back. Only 80 combos separating these two players as they're still hitting some of these intense patterns, but xymbii going to be the first to fall on the recovery, and it's going to be Orange Juice now trading out with that miss on the recovery as well, and 70,000 points is doable, but not with the amount of combo density left in this map. I think this one is going to go the way of Orange Juice. However, there's still a little bit more time. xymbii does have the combo lead, and that score is slowly shifting, but that miss is surely going to spell the end for xymbii on this pick, and a lot closer of a pick on this Hard Rock 2 than the Hard Rock 3 was for Orange Juice, but still such an impressive score from both players, and ultimately Orange Juice does go up 2-1 to start this match. One X miss from Orange Juice as well. Sure, he might have dropped the accuracy quite a bit towards the end of the map, but that one miss really just shows how comfortable he is at precision Hard Rock. One of the skill sets that he has prided himself on as being exceptionally good at, but gonna be going back into the hidden pool here from xymbii. They're really trying to abuse the fact that Orange Juice is not much of a hidden player, does not prefer the mod, much prefers stuff like the Hard Rocks, like the double times. So I think xymbii is really just saying, hey, you are probably weaker at this than I am, and I'm going to continue to pick into that. Luckily for Orange Juice, though, he does get another ban here after this map is played out, but there are still 2 hidden picks left open for xymbii, so if he chooses to ban out one of the other hiddens, then he would only be able to ban out one. But UHFs are coming out. Don't really have to worry about bans just yet. Have to worry about this map right here now in front of us. xymbii is going to try to answer back with another point of his own here on this hidden one. And luckily for Orange Juice, the AR for this one is vastly higher than the AR on the hidden 2. 9.7 versus AR 8, but still gonna be important to hold on to as much combo as you can. This one's a doozy. A little bit of a mech tech pick here. Both players trading on the exact same pattern. Not going to be bad for either of them, just because the trade happened literally on the exact same note. But Orange is looking a lot more comfortable here on this higher AR hidden. Might not prefer the mod, but still looking pretty solid. However, does find the first, or second miss, excuse me, after the trades that happened earlier, and xymbii does end up trading again here with Orange Juice, now finding another miss of his own, and that's going to be multiple misses here in this first PI section from both players, and for the time being, a slight combo advantage for Orange Juice, but ends up dropping that as I was mentioning it, and so that is going to put a halt to the score shift back the way of Orange Juice, and xymbii for the time being now is going to hold on to a bit of a combo lead here, coming up to about 200 versus 100 here, so that 100 combo can definitely play a huge role for xymbii as the map progresses forward, but gonna have to continue to hold. Another player getting tripped up on these slider ticks, but looking really comfortable right now are both players. And that's gonna be a miss from Orange Juice here right before the second PI section. Finding yet another miss, and xymbii holding through the fast slider, but does end up dropping some combo on some of these split streams. Particularly difficult to hit, especially with the hidden mod applied, and it's still going to be 50,000 points separating these two players, now climbing up to about 65,000 as the misses continue here from either player, but again, xymbii holding on to just a little bit more combo into the solo section, ends up dropping it, and now it's Orange Juice's turn. A bit of an opening for Orange Juice, actually, as xymbii is finding some more chain misses, but Orange Juice is going to be dropping his recovery as well, so really going to have to lock in here. There's plenty of time for 60,000 points to go back the way of Orange Juice, but really has to lock in. Misreads that pattern before the slow section here. Only just a light reprieve and combo, just a little bit of time for the players to recover their nerves, and Orange is still going to be finding some difficulties holding on to the comboing. And xymbii is just locked in here on this final section. Looking really comfortable now, cresting 300 combo. 300,000 points to 200,000 with still more map left to go, but the misses are coming through only on the side of Orange Juice. It's going to be looking like yet another answer back here from xymbii. Going to be tying things back up 2-2 now, as 110,000 is much too big of a score gap for Orange Juice to claw back, especially with no combo. Good on xymbii to be able to answer back here again with another pick in the hidden pool. Orange Juice looked a lot better here on this hidden one over the hidden two. I think the real difficulty for Orange Juice wasn't the fact that it was the hidden mod applied to it, but rather it was CS5 AR8 on that hidden two, and yeah, still looked pretty solid on something like this hidden one, hitting a lot of the difficult patterns that you would expect players to be missing on who aren't that comfortable on hidden, but still at the end of the day, it's just xymbii pulling through, looking really solid on the hidden, and yeah, Orange Juice is kicking himself, leaving literally every single hidden pick open at the start of the map, but it is going to be one of those two remaining hidden picks banned out from Orange Juice on the hidden 4. The Hard Rock one getting banned out from xymbii, and yeah, saying he doesn't want to play hidden 3, but I'm not sure if that's actually true. We might see a hidden 3 pick later from xymbii, just seeing how Orange Juice has performed versus xymbii, but yeah, those are going to be your bans. Hard Rock 1, Nomad 2 from xymbii, and then hidden 4 and Nomad 6 from Orange Juice, so we are going to be awaiting the third pick from Orange Juice. So far, both these two players have won every map that they have picked. There's still a Hard Rock 4 potential here from Orange Juice. Otherwise, I think we could see him dip into something like the DT2, maybe the DT3. Definitely prefers something that is more tapping heavy. But I think Hard Rock 4 is probably going to be the safest bet here for Orange Juice's third pick. Actually, it's going to be Nomad 5. That one swept under my radar here. Still going to be tapping pick here from Orange Juice, but just not in the Hard Rock, not in the double time pool. So really not going to be leaning away from his pick strategy that I have kind of predicted from him. But just slight deviation here into the Nomad pool. Nomad 5 being 200, or excuse me, it's about 240 BPM. It's 160 BPM, but it is 1/6. So I think it is effectively 240 BPM streams. Also some pretty long streams at that. talking like 80 plus note streams, if I remember correctly, but Chili Chefs are coming out here, and we're gonna get into map number 5. Not fully sure how xymbii does, how he fares on something like this week's No Mod 5 with the longer streams in this, but we will see if he is going to be able to keep up with Orange Juice, or if Orange Juice potentially could blunder, but I do think that this pick should favor Orange Juice, at least on paper. Here we go into some of these longer streams. So far it's only about 10 note bursts, but already seeing a stark accuracy disparity between these two players. Yes, they're both still holding on. This is one of the easier stream sections. Orange is looking a bit better, however, as I say that, that's end up dropping accuracy, but that's going to be dropped combo from xymbii, and accuracy doesn't matter if your opponent is dropping their combo the way that xymbii found massive chain miss there on the end of that stream, and it is going to be a bit of a score advantage for Orange Juice as we're into these kind of little tiny triple jump sections, and really a bit of free combo for him as well. Maybe kicking himself for dropping combo where he did, because that's going to be a little bit tricky to recover back now. Only a quarter of the way through this map though. 40,000 points. What Orange Juice is able to get off the back of those misses from xymbii, but here we go into the second stream section. Burst starting to get a little bit longer. Starting to see 15 plus note burst, but that's Orange Juice dropping combo. So that is the opening that xymbii needed to be able to get back into this, because xymbii is still holding on to actually just barely slightly better accuracy, 0.01 better than Orange Juice here, but the combo is what's going to start pulling all the weight here for xymbii, as he's holding on to 650 combo, climbing up to 700 now in this next stream section. And hits it all. That score lead is now slowing down here for Orange Juice. It's actually going back the way of xymbii. We're coming to the halfway mark of this map, and there's still some more of these just kind of basic 3-note jumps into sliders here. This is the free combo now that xymbii is allotted for himself, and Orange is maybe kicking himself on the misses, but here's the triangles. Both players do hit them. Not getting tripped up on that, but xymbii gets tripped up on the accelerating stream right before this jump section from the slider jumps, and that's going to be really bad for xymbii, because Orange Juice is holding on to a solid recovery. It was basically having to be xymbii holding on to his recovery combo in order for that score lead to switch over, and him missing and no trades to be seen from Orange Juice yet on these slider jumps is looking particularly nasty for xymbii now to get this score back. Only a quarter of the map remaining, and finding more misses here on some of these slider jumps. A spot where you want to be missing. Well, the score lead is 70,000 in favor of Orange Juice. It was looking like it was going to go back the way of xymbii, but here we get into some of these longer streams again. And the accuracies look just so good for both of these players, but unfortunately for xymbii, is Orange Juice on the 1000 combos. Orange Juice with the better accuracy, holding through these difficult longer streams, and it's Orange Juice looking so much more comfortable on this No Mod 5, as xymbii is just not able to match the combo, not able to match the accuracy of Orange Juice, and that's going to be a third point on the board for Orange Juice. In the way this one's looking, we could very easily go to tiebreaker. There are plenty more picks for both of these two players who seem so comfortable on all of their picks so far. Orange Juice does drop right at the very end. Won't be seeing much more combo for him, as this is the last spinner of the map on 180,000 points here in favor of Orange Juice as xymbii stops spinning. But that's going to be one of the more decisive picks we've seen so far. I think the last really decisive pick we saw this match was on the Hidden 2, and then previously, I believe, on Orange Juice's first pick, which was the Hard Rock 3. But still looking pretty solid, despite not necessarily being favored on something like the No Mod 5. xymbii looked still pretty comfortable on that, so it is very interesting here doesn't necessarily mean that Orange Juice is free to pick into stuff like the DT2 or the DT3, but we will see how he feels about that on his next few picks. But for xymbii, still has the option of the hidden free if he really wants to. It seems like he was mentioning that he did not want to go into the hidden free and would rather just not pick that entirely. And I don't think we're going to be seeing Oranges pick that, so it is going to be a switch up of pick strategy here for xymbii. Now going to be the one to pick into the Hard Rock as we see him going for the final Hard Rock here on the Hard Rock 4. Yeah, this is a tricky one. If I remember correctly, this is going to be your finger control Hard Rock. So a little bit of a different look here from any of the other previous Hard Rocks that we've seen so far. And yeah, you have to imagine Orange Juice is pretty practiced up on this as well. However, I'm not sure just how practiced he would be on something like this Hard Rock for. Regardless, we're gonna have to see as we get into map number 6. Hard Rock 4 closing out the Hard Rock pool. xymbii gonna be the one to close out the Hard Rock pool. And the way this match has gone so far, every player has won their own pick to this point. Could this be the first breakpoint that we might see here? I think this one has the most potential for that, but only time can tell. It's a bit of a slow start here on this map, but once it takes off, boy, it really takes off. Already starting to see some of these finger control elements in this map. Already got some 1-6 patterns in there. A lot of syncopated rhythms, but both players are holding solid accuracies for the time being. However, it's gonna be a accuracy lead for xymbii. No player getting tripped up on any of these 1-6 patterns just yet, but still looking so solid are both these two players. Yeah, Orange Juice definitely is practiced on something like this Hard Rock 4. But does end up finding the first miss, and that's going to give xymbii a pretty huge opening to start to run away with the score lead, as this is going to be not necessarily free combo, but one of the less difficult sections. I think both of these players are holding through some pretty difficult sections, but coming up here is going to be chances for some misses, as we do see xymbii finally drop the combo, but luckily for him, there was a trade that just happened from Orange Juice as well, so not going to have much recovery combo to work with here in Orange Juice, as we're already halfway through this map, and yeah, 80,000 points is doable. You have a 100 combo lead right now off of the multiple misses from xymbii, and this is a little bit of a calm before the storm section. Really have to lock in, though, for the end of this map. We start to see more 1/3s, but as well as the 1/3s, we are also seeing more 1/6s as we await Bancho to catch up with us, but for the time being, it's xymbii with the accuracy lead, trailing by about 2.5% is Orange Juice, but Orange Juice going to be finding a miss here as we await Bancho from xymbii, and a little bit desync from these two players. It's kind of awkward. Hopefully we get a little bit of a panic. Yep, we do, and hopefully we are synced back up. Thank you, Bancho. But it looks like we are synced back up, and now it's going to be xymbii holding on to such a massive recovery combo. We didn't get to see it amount to this, but you have to imagine he hasn't missed since we last saw him playing. And yeah, with the misses from Orange Juice that we were able to see, that is going to be a free point here for xymbii. 3-3 now, tying things up once again, looking really solid on all of these picks are both players, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the player that picks the map just seems that much more comfortable on the map that they're picking. It's really good of xymbii to recognize that despite Orange Juice picking and winning both of the other two Hard Rocks, xymbii is still able to win out on this Hard Rock 4 pick. So very well done to spot that opening. And now it's going to be Orange Juice's choice I do think we are finally going to start seeing these double times start to get picked from these two players. I think especially something like the DT2, the DT3 are really staring me in the face as potential next picks from Orange Juice. But again, it's still going to be kind of risky because xymbii has put up really impressive scores on the double time pools so far in this tournament. Actually, xymbii being the only of these two players that has played any match outside of group stage in this tournament, and has been looking pretty comfortable on some of these double time picks, but it is going to actually be Nomad 4, so really interesting choice here from Orange Juice. That Hard Rock 4 did have some tech elements in it, but this Nomad 4 is going to be a lot more emphasis on the slider tech. Rather than some more of like finger control that we see in something like the Hard Rock 4. So could be a bit of a blunder. This pick is probably the most worrisome for me. If I had to put a finger on a pick that I think could go the way of the other player picking it, I do think that this one would favor xymbii just because of how solid xymbii has been on some of these previous Nomad 4s throughout this tournament, but we'll see. This one, again, is going to be on the shorter side, only 2.5 minutes. But tied 3-3, a breakpoint would be massive for either of these two players, and if xymbii's going to be able to get a breakpoint, I do think it would be on a map like this Nomad 4. Bit of a calm before build up here as both players do hit the cut streams, but now this is where the map really takes off. You see these difficult to hit awkward spacing changes as Orange Juice is going to be the first ball, dropping massive combo here, dropping massive accuracy as well. And yeah, this is looking like a pretty huge blunder from Orange Juice just off the beginning of this map. xymbii looks so comfortable, finally ends up falling in this Ki section, but hitting almost every single pattern in that section. One of the hardest sections of the map, too, and coming out almost completely unscathed. This is looking really bad for Orange Juice, and we're already halfway through the map. Combo is even now, but it's going to be a massive accuracy advantage for xymbii, and especially with that 100,000 point score lead, the accuracy is going to start playing much bigger role here as we get into the end of this map, but here's more room for misses from either of these two players. Both end up hitting the stream going into the second Ki. It's going to be xymbii falling right before the second Ki, but now Orange Juice has the opening to claw this one back. Gonna have to essentially hold on to combo for the rest of this Ki, but finds a miss, and that's gonna be xymbii holding on to the lead for the time being now. 90,000 points, and I do think that's going to be a bit too much for Orange Juice to be able to claw it back. There's just not enough time for him to claw it back, and yeah, this is going to be a slowdown here on the end. Only a quarter of the map remaining, and this is a massive blunder from Orange Juice going into this Nomad 4. Finding a couple more misses. Now it's traded out by xymbii, but the damage has been done. 100,000 points. It's going to be plenty enough for xymbii to get this breakpoint of the match, the first breakpoint of the match at that, and not going to look to consolidate on this breakpoint. Really not sure how the locals might have looked for Orange Juice on this Nomad 4, but in match, it's xymbii coming out on top, looking that much more comfortable and confident on this pick. I mean, the man literally almost FC'd the entire beginning section, only finding a miss right at the very ending of the first Ki, and yeah, xymbii, a much deserved breakpoint at that. And this is what I was saying. This is a scary spot to be in. When the match is as close as it is, and we are this deep into the pool, the picks start to get a little bit less and less one-sided for these players, and finding breakpoints are that much more impactful, as it's going to be xymbii finally dipping his toes into the DT pool. The first time that we see either of these two players dip their toes into the DT pool this match, so xymbii gonna start us off here on this DT1. Looking for some consistency here in this DT1. It's not going to be that high of an AR. AR 10.2, in fact, all of the DT picks in this week's pool are going to be above AR 10. But 10.2 should be pretty accessible for both of these two players, especially players who are so comfortable on the DT mod. But again, this could be another breakpoint possibility here for Orange Juice, the player who has thrived in the double time picks throughout his matches that he has played in this tournament. So a little bit of a risky pick, but when the pool is as thin as it is right now, right, we are 7 picks through, and this is going to be pick number 8. You kind of just have to say, okay, I'm going to pick into something that I think you can also get a good score on, and I'm just going to hope that I get a better score. So for xymbii right now, if he is able to consolidate on that breakpoint that he just got, it's going to be everything for him, because just a friendly reminder, this is still loser's bracket for these two players, right? Orange Juice might not have played a single match to this point, having FF'd his first match and had his second match FF, but xymbii just now made it to the loser's bracket and is looking to prove himself here in the loser's bracket. Finding the first breakpoint off the previous pick, and yeah, GLHF's come out. Map number 8, DT1. Ripping the band-aid off the DT pool here is xymbii. Well, it's finding the first miss, but those beginning jumps are particularly mean, particularly nasty to be hitting consistently, and that first miss isn't really going to net too much of a score lead for Orange Juice, because it's just so early on with so much of the map left. It is a shorter map, 2 minutes, 20 seconds in length here, but still plenty of time for recovery. As we see, it was only the first 15 notes that xymbii found the miss, so not going to be the end of the world, but gonna have to lock in from here on out. Both players looking pretty solid here, pretty equal accuracy, slight advantage for xymbii, as that score actually switches back over towards xymbii because of that accuracy drops from Orange Juice. At first KI section, both players hit the jumps into it. We do see Orange Juice finding a miss on one of these particularly mean linear patterns, and this is going to be xymbii starting to run away with it. The way with double time works is really going to start to lead the score. Multiplier is going to start to climb now, and yeah, halfway through the map, xymbii is on essentially a full combo, but finds a miss. Unfortunately, maybe a slight misread, maybe a slight misaim, I couldn't really tell, but that miss is going to give Orange Juice an opening back into this, as now Orange Juice has the combo advantage, and the accuracy is there for Orange Juice to get the score back. There's plenty of time, and this is going to be pretty scary for xymbii pretty quickly if Orange Juice is able to hold on to his combo into the second KI. Holding onto the combo, that score lead has climbed back down from what was 80,000 to now 20,000 as xymbii finds yet another miss here. This is looking really worse and worse for xymbii, but Orange Juice finds a miss right before the second KI, so that is going to be a reset on the combos from both players with a slight lead for xymbii, but any further misses from either of these two players can definitely change that lead. Orange Juice is going to be finding the next miss here in the second KI in the final section of the map, finding yet more misses, and this is looking like it's going to be a point for xymbii, albeit a close one. 40,000 points, and there's some change, but xymbii holds on to combo through that section, but finds some misses as well, so this is an opening for Orange Juice, but I don't think there's not going to be enough time, and no, definitely not enough time as the map comes to a close. Had the mapper potentially mapped out the final ending of this song, it could have gone the way of Orange Juice, but that's going to be xymbii. Find the consolidation on the breakpoint. Make things 5-3, and now Orange Juice is really on the back foot, because he's not only going to have to get all of his next picks won, he's also going to have to get back a breakpoint at some point from xymbii, so it's looking pretty rough for Orange Juice. However, with it being best of 13, there is still only 2 more points before xymbii wins this match, if xymbii is to win this match, so does have the safety net of at least 1 more map loss, but you cannot afford 2 more map loss for Orange Juice, so these next picks are really important from him, and we do see the Nomad 1 pick here from Orange Juice, so really kind of tiptoeing around that DT pool, just not wanting to give xymbii the opportunity to potentially set a better score than Orange Juice is able to right now. Really respecting xymbie's DT capabilities, and Yeah, no one one is gonna be the choice here. Gonna be consistency here. A lot less of the linear aim as we saw in the DT1, but still consistency all the same. That's one of the longest maps in this pool. 4 minutes, 19 seconds in length, almost 420. Nice. Uh, Winner takes all for all the marbles. I don't think xymbii seems to be in agreement with that one, Orange Juice, but that would be interesting if that was the case. Players just handshaking. Whoever wins this next pick, I will. Player that loses ends up FFing. No, don't think we're going to be seeing that here. What we would like to see, though, however, is Orange Juice tying things back up. Doesn't need to start with a point of his own here on this Nomad 1, but we will see. Both players are going to be hitting the beginning jumps here of this map. Not getting tripped up on that glider coming after the break, but for the time being, it's going to be xymbii holding on to much better accuracy here off the beginning section. We're already seeing the difference here from this Nomad 1 and the DT1. A lot less focus on the linear aim, a lot more focus on just the raw aim aspects of a Nomad 1 pick here, and a little bit of finger control on some of these bursts. Right? They're not just all 5-note bursts, there are a couple of 4 notes and some 1/3s mixed in as well, but the accuracy has finally dropped from an SS. I feel like it is safe to talk about it from xymbii, but what is not going to be safe is xymbii's combo here in this first PI section, as Orange Juice now has the combo lead, despite being down in accuracy still by 1.5% at least here in favor of xymbii, but Orange Juice going to be holding on to the combo here into this first PI. Hitting these massive cross-screen jumps. Misses on the farm pattern and finds a massive chain break on the stream right after, and xymbii holding on to combo as well as this still insane 99.6% accuracy instantly switches that score lead back over towards xymbii now, who is in the driver's seat, looking to start to run away with this one. 10,000 points right now, but we're at nearing halfway mark of this map, and yes, it's a longer pick, but this accuracy is really going to start pulling heavy work for xymbii as the further this map goes. Maybe looking to move forward here. This score lead that he has been allowed from Orange Juice off the back of those massive chain misses, but we get into the second PI, there's going to be room for some mistakes from either of these two players. If xymbii finds a couple of mistakes, it's going to be Orange Juice getting that score lead back pretty quickly, despite being down almost 2% accuracy. Both players are hitting these cross-screen jumps. Orange Juice is going to be the first to fall in the second PI. There's still a couple more difficult jumps, but he's still holding on, and Orange Juice is looking to be cursor dancing a little bit, maybe a little bit tilted over this pick. Can't be kicking yourself when you're down these 2 points already from xymbii, and yeah, the way this one's looking, it's looking like xymbii is going to be getting another breakpoint here to make this one go to match point already. I do hear that it is safe to say this one's going to be too late for Orange Juice to be able to get the score back. There's just not enough time, not enough combo in this map, and 157,000 points is what is keeping him from winning his own pick here, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. xymbii holding on to a 1k combo as noted by Orange Juice in the smoke, and hits the end stream. getting these in jumps, and Envy just really looking so solid here. Finds a miss, has the time and the score advantage to say bro in smoke. And yeah, both of these two players not too happy with their scores, but still gonna be xymbii to put this one to match point here. Now the only way for Orange Juice to win this match is to take xymbii to tiebreaker, and that's gonna have to start with xymbii's next pick, which could be the last pick of this match. A really terrifying spot for Orange Juice to be in. Like, yes, this is his first played match of beyond group stage, but I do think Orange Juice still wants to play in this tournament moving forward. It's just gonna be off the back of a hard-fought battle here. And xymbii's gonna have his choice for the next picks, and I'm kind of eyeing up that Nomad 3, the way that xymbii has been looking on some of these previous Nomad 3s in this tournament. I do hear that one getting picked here as potentially the last map of this match, but it's going to be DT2 here. xymbii going back into the double time pool. Neither player had touched this double time pool until I think 2 picks ago from xymbii. From xymbii's last pick on the DT1. And now going to be dipping their toes into this more speed-focused DT here. Also a higher AR, coming at 10.4. Almost 255 BPM. Orange Juice gonna have to do some heavy lifting here. He wants to maintain his tournament life in this year's North American tournament. This could be the final map of this match here. If xymbii is able to close this one out, he will move forward in the losers bracket. Play against the likes of Boshiman. I believe that match was already decided by a forfeit earlier. Zudinator, of course, in a big move, not able to play all of their matches, but xymbii gonna be finding the first miss here on this DT2 pick, and this is the short one of the shortest maps we've seen so far in this match, coming in at just below 2 minutes, so that's gonna give a pretty sizable lead to Orange Juice, who is no stranger to these tapping picks. All he was able to do on something like the Nomad 5, and xymbii finding yet another miss here in this first PI section is not helping his case, as Orange Juice is going to start to pull away pretty far with this one. Holding on to the FC here as we crest the halfway mark. Just about 100,000 points has been the separating factor for the time being for these two players, and slight accuracy advantage for xymbii, but gonna have to maintain the combo. Finds the chain miss is Orange Juice, gonna be dropping that FC, and now that score is quickly shifting back the way of xymbii, but xymbii finds a chain miss of its own, so that's gonna put a stop to that. But the accuracy drops from Orange Juice just not helping his case. However, xymbii dropping the combo is gonna be not helping its case that much more. Is gonna be good. Significant score lead in favor of Orange Juice. Both players kind of falling apart on this longer tapping section, and yeah, Orange Juice is going to be pulling through with this one, keeping himself in the tournament for 1 pick longer. At the very least, he's going to be doing it pretty decisively off this break point. Maybe a bit of a blunder from xymbii to not close this one out. Giving Orange Juice a chance at yet another map here. Now, unfortunately for Orange Juice, this is going to be his last pick no matter what. If he wins this pick, it's still going to go the way of xymbii for the final pick of this match before we go to tiebreaker, if Orange Juice is able to win that pick as well. So he is going to be at the mercy of xymbii one way or the other, and going to have to win not only his next pick, but xymbii's next pick too. So it's still a difficult road ahead for Orange Juice, but for the time being, maintains his tournament life, and we are here to watch more of this match. And That being said, I mean, this is also not the only match happening tonight. I believe we have one other match here starting up pretty soon, and that's going to be at 1 UTC. Swick and Picapone, also a losers bracket match. So whenever this one concludes, we will probably take a short pause and swap over to that one, but we're going to be awaiting the final pick of Orange Juice here. Options are pretty limited, and yeah, it's just got to be the double time 3. You don't want to pick something like the hidden 3 the way that all the other hiddens have gone for xymbii. You don't want to pick something like the Noma 3, just given how comfortable xymbii is on that style of alt. EV4 I think was a viable choice for Orange Juice, but yeah, the picks are spread thin given just how few maps are available to these players to pick, especially with it being best of 13. That only leaves, I believe, 2 maps. If the match goes to tiebreaker, it only leaves 2 maps unpicked in the entire map pool. So yeah, double time 3 is going to be the way here for Orange Juice, and a bit lower AR from the previous one. Not going to be the 10.4 as we just saw, now down to 10.1, but still going to be interesting. Orange Juice really going to have to put the pedal to the metal. Really going to have to lock in here for the potentially last map of this match, potentially his last map of this tournament. It all starts here. Map number 11. Let's get underway. And this one's a lot quicker than the previous BT2 that we saw as well. However, this one's got a lot less of those longer bursts that we saw in something like the DT2. This one's going to be a lot more sustained triples, kind of almost a DT1-esque map. Both players going to be holding on to FCs here through the beginning section. Gonna make it to the break and see that they are both holding onto the poke combos. It's gonna be slight act advantage and score advantage for Orange Juice, but Orange Juice gonna be dropping the combo right before the first PI, and that's gonna give xymbii a pretty big opening now as he's still holding onto his combo. Accuracy drops be damned. xymbii is looking really comfortable right now, but finds a miss in this first PI, so that's gonna put a stop to the score lead now as we're only a third of the way through the map, and there's plenty of time for Orange Juice to get this score back. On the combo advantage is Orange Juice. Cannot afford any more misses without them being trades, but even then a trade will only benefit xymbii as he's holding on to the score lead. Now, nerves might be able to set in for these two players as we see that Orange Juice is holding on to about 150 more combo, and it's going to be that much more important for both players to lock in and hold on to every bit of combo that they can get. A little bit of the solo section, neither player getting caught up on that buzz slider. It's particularly nasty. To hold on to their combos that much further, so yeah, xymbii really hoping that Orange Juice finds a mistake, but right now we're locked in here as we get into the next PI section. Last PI up this map, and the next miss can definitely decide how this one goes, as that score lead is almost pulling over the way of Orange Juice finally ends up shifting just barely 7,000 points and dropping a little bit because the accuracy disparity. Orange Juice is going to be finding the first miss here in this. xymbii going to be getting a score lead right back, and that's looking like it's going to be a breakpoint for xymbii here, and potentially the end of Orange Juice's tournament life in North American tournament. It's now over. That miss seals the deal, and xymbii winning this one out. Third breakpoint from xymbii to win this match, maintaining his tournament life here in NAT. Gonna be going up against Boshi Man. But that's gonna be it for this match. A GG well played to both of these two players. Definitely was looking like it was gonna go all the way to the tiebreaker, but ultimately Orange Juice just not able to pull through in the end. And yeah, gonna have to say goodbye to him, but don't go anywhere because we've got yet another match here. already starting right now, so we're going to take just a quick pause and then we will be right back. So stick around here for the next match.